How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. Today we're going to dive into a few different topics. I want to talk about censorship in Facebook. I also want to talk about the new Laken Riley Act that was passed, and then I want to finish up the day talking about patriotism. Let's start with free speech because, let's be honest, it's been under attack for a while. I think that Facebook has finally started to get it right a little bit with the changes they've implemented today. So previously, over the last few years, Facebook has took a stance with fact checkers where fact checkers would check individuals' posts, and the fact checkers would often be biased, which led to a lot of controversy around the country and surrounding the social media platform, specifically in the political atmosphere. I really think that now that they've shifted to a community notes standard, kind of like Twitter and X has done, I think it will not only bring a lot more users back to the platform, it will allow a lot more truth to be told and let people to really see what the truth is. What community notes is versus fact checking. Fact checking is when a independent fact checker will go and they'll put a little blurb under your post with what they think is the correct information. What community notes is the community adds that blurb instead of one independent fact checker. So us as a community, say 1,000 of us are fact checkers, we would then go put our input, link it with our own sources, and then other credible, I don't know what you'd call the word for community note specialists, but basically fact checkers. But other people who work in that atmosphere will then be able to then go and verify that your sources are correct. So it's not just one independent fact checker, it's now a whole community of people who are doing this, and it's allowing a lot more people, like I was explaining, to really join the platform and express their views and express their opinions without having to worry about being deplatformed. So I think Facebook has really gotten it right. I think Zuckerberg for a while took a pretty radical stance when it came to right-wingers. He didn't really allow much to be posted on the conservative side, but now it seems with Donald Trump back in office, whether it's a political play for him or he genuinely has changed his mind, he has really opened the floodgates to allow a lot more free speech. And that's what America is about. Free speech is one of the principles of being an American. I also want to talk about the Laken Riley Act, like I was saying. If you don't know who Laken Riley is, she was a nursing student who was tragically killed by an illegal immigrant in this country. The Laken Riley Act I'm going to actually read the bill to you so you guys can see it. The first thing the bill will do is it will require federal immigration authorities to detain illegal immigrants found guilty of theft-related crimes. And secondly, it will allow states to sue the Department of Homeland Security for harm caused by illegal immigration. So what this means is generally that in the tragic instance like something what happened with Laken Riley, where say someone in your family or a friend or anything like that does get tragically hurt or killed or anything like that by an illegal immigrant, you would be able and empowered to sue the Department of Homeland Security for failing to prosecute and deport that illegal immigrant, which is a step in the right direction. I think they honestly need to take a slightly harder stance on it. I don't think it should just be for people who have been convicted of theft crimes. I think you could really elaborate not just, I think you could really expand that to not only include theft, but include all types of violent and nonviolent crimes. Maybe not all nonviolent, but for the most part, there's a lot that you could add in there. I think it was a tragedy what happened with Laken Riley. I really think as Americans, we need to come together more, and we need to understand what that family went through, that they lost their daughter, and they lost their daughter through no fault of their own. They lost their daughter because of the negligence of our government. I think it's sad and disgusting, and it breaks my heart to think about. I really think that as Americans, the more and more we can keep this dialogue going, we can keep communicating, the more and more we can come together, come closer, and we can see each other's perspectives on these things. I know not everybody is going to agree with my perspective. I'm sharing mine here. I leave my comments and my messages open for anyone to message me with their opinions. I would love to interact with anybody. And I also want to talk today about why I think patriotism is a good thing. Patriotism over the last few countries, it almost seems like it's a bad thing to love your country nowadays. Every country has faults. There's not one that doesn't, including America. even though it is the greatest country to exist, it does have its faults, but it doesn't mean you can't be patriotic and love your country still. And that's one of the things that the media has slightly twisted recently. Over the last few years, it's not become a crime, but the media paints you out to be a not the best person if you are loving your country, supporting your military, your police. It I don't know when that happened. I don't know why that changed. I think it's very backwards. I think we need to support our police. We need to support our veterans, our military. We need to continue to communicate with each other. We need to continue to keep pushing forward with patriotism, with loving this country. This country gives us the opportunity to grow. This country gives us the opportunity to build things that you couldn't in other countries. This country is something I'm in love with. I fell in love with America when I was just a young man, and as I've grown older, I've continued to fall in love with America. America is the greatest land of opportunity to ever exist. I think patriotism is coming back, and I think it is gonna, as it keeps coming back, I really implore more Americans who have fought against it to at least open their hearts a little bit to it. You don't have to fully accept it right away. I understand change is difficult, but I implore you to open your heart to the idea of change, to accepting that America is a country that loves you. America is a country that wants to help you. And the more you help it, the more it can help you. America is the land of opportunity. There's no other country in the world where you can do things like you can do in America. I'm James Pascalides. This is America Unfiltered, episode 2. I'm signing off. Thank you, and I hope you all have a blessed day.